Hello, in this video we're going to take a look at an alternative to the Lego London Tower Bridge set. So that set costs about £180, which is about $250, and by contrast this set by Oxford costs about £35 or about $50, so it's much cheaper. And as you can see from the box, it looks like this is going to be a pretty good kit. I don't know, it's a bit superficial, but it's a really sort of solid designed box. It's kind of worthy of Lego, even though this is actually by a company called Oxford, who are a well-known Lego compatible manufacturer, actually based in South Korea. If you live in the UK, by the way, you can get this from a shop called Smiths. They import them from South Korea. Otherwise, you can get them on eBay and Amazon, but just be a bit careful with the prices. Now, the number of pieces in this set are the first difference between this and the real Lego one. So you can see here it says that it's for ages 8+, and it contains 1,341 pieces. So the actual Lego set includes 4,295 pieces. So that's like almost 4 times the number of pieces. This is still good value for money. Each brick works out at about 2.5p a brick, whereas in the Lego set it works out at about 4 or 5 pence a brick. So this is good value, but then again it's not a Lego set, and you would expect the Lego set to command more because it is a better quality set. You've got the London Tower Bridge on the front, and on the back we've got the sort of dimensions of the bridge itself, and obviously because it's got fewer bricks this is smaller than the real Lego set. This one is actually 480mm long. It's actually quite a long model really. You've got a bit of blurb, a bit of history about the London Bridge on the back. By the way, this is actually London Tower Bridge, not London Bridge. They are two different bridges. Go and look them up on Google if you want to see the difference. But this is the one that's kind of, I suppose, probably the most famous. Let's open the box and take a look inside. So inside we've got some instructions. The Oxford instructions are incredibly well printed, and again another superficial thing is that they smell absolutely amazing. They're really easy to follow, they're vibrant, they're well printed. If you're good with Lego instructions, then you'll be good with these Oxford ones. I will also say that this is I think the third Oxford set that I've actually built, and I'll leave a link to a playlist down below of other Oxford sets. I built a Titanic, and I've also built, which was a fantastic model, and also a USS Missouri battleship, which was really good as well. These Oxford sets are probably the best alternative, cheaper alternative to real Lego that I've ever come across, and you're not ripping off any sort of companies like you are if you buy some of those other brands which I'm not going to mention. So anyway, lots of bags of bricks. You also get some stickers. So the model itself was actually quite easy to put together. I did it over sort of 4 or 5 days actually, which is quite unusual for me, and that's because some of the model is a bit repetitive. So this is the completed model. Now what I meant about kind of repeated parts or boring parts is that you've got this tower here obviously, and you've got this tower which is exactly the same. So basically you are building the same thing twice, and I guess that's just a criticism of Tower Bridge rather than this set, because the Lego set will be exactly the same, just with nearly 4 times the number of parts. So the completed model looks quite detailed. I think you'll agree the towers have got a lot of detail in. If you compare this actually to the Lego set, there are a lot of familiar design ideas. This curved bit at the bottom looks very similar to the Lego one, but they have managed to make this unique and have different sort of design styling on these towers. There's also a range of colours, from this sort of sandy brick colour through to these sort of gold detaily ones at the top here, which I think are really nice. Now, just like the real Lego set, the bridge part itself does actually raise up. I don't know how often this happens in London, maybe a few times a day, I don't know, maybe if you know you could let me know down below. I think it's just to let boats and things through, or really tall people. And it has actually got these little tiny model cars on them, and it kind of gives you an idea of the difference in scale between this model and the real Lego one, because on the real Lego one they actually do look like tiny little cars, whereas these are actually made of just two bricks. We've also got these sort of walkway things up here, which I believe are it's actually hireable as like a function room, because I watched an episode of the British Apprentice where the two teams had to host an event up there. So that's quite cool. We've also got these sort of bridge supports here, which are again less detailed than the real Lego one, but visually they have quite a good effect. I mean, this does look like Tower Bridge, doesn't it? The whole model itself is actually built onto this very sturdy blue River Thames simulation here, the great big blue block down here, which is fine, but actually the Lego one is a little bit more refined. It sort of curves around the model a bit more, and I think that would actually make it look a little bit better. This makes it look a little bit unfinished, just a kind of rectangular block, and in fact the same is true of the whole model. It just kind of looks a little bit less refined and, dare I say, complete than the real Lego set. But that said, I think this model is a beautiful model, and for only sort of £35, as I said, $50, you can't complain. If you haven't got £180 or $250 to spend on the real Lego one, then this is a great alternative. It's a fun build. Oxford are a decent company. They make good quality bricks, good quality instructions, good quality packaging, and their sets are well designed. So this is a very cheap, very good alternative to the real Lego London Tower Bridge. Anyway, I've got a few more of these Oxford sets to build because I enjoy them so much and they're so cheap I can't really afford not to buy them. Let me know if you've got one of these. Let me know if you've got the real Lego London Tower Bridge and how you think it compares to this. Do subscribe if you like Lego and basically all kind of geeky stuff, because that's what I do on this channel. Merry Christmas, because you can see I've got my Christmas lights in the background. See you next time for another video.